Now, even as Pakistan has been trying hard to rake up the Kashmir unrest at several forums, including the United Nations, there's conclusive evidence now to prove that the unrest in the valley was in fact orchestrated by Pakistan based on terror organizations. And this revelation has been made by none other than Jamaat-ud-Dawa chief and dreaded terrorist Hafiz Saeed. Now, addressing a meeting of JuD workers in Faisalabad on Wednesday evening, Hafiz Saeed claimed that a Lashkar commander was leading the processions following the encounter of Hizbul terrorist Burhan Wani in Srinagar. Listen in.
burhan Wani की शहादत हुई, 3 लाख कश्मीरी उसके जनाजे के लिए निकले। और फैसलाबाद के भाइयों, आपको मालूम है, अगर आप उस जनाजे की तस्वीर देखें तो एक नौजवान है जिसको कश्मीरियों ने अपने कंधों पर उठाया हुआ है और वो जनाजे के इस जुलूस की क़यादत कर रहा है। कौन है वो? कुछ जानते हैं आप कौन है वो जिसको कश्मीरियों ने अपने कंधों पर उठाया हुआ है और वो क़यादत कर रहा है? वो लश्कर-ए-तैयबा का अमीर है। वो लश्कर-ए-तैयबा का अमीर है।
Kaswar Klasra is now joining us on the phone lines with more details. Kaswar, that statement from Hafiz Saeed really says it all, pretty much blows the lid on Pakistan's lies, doesn't it? On one hand, they interfere in India's internal affairs and condemn the violence, and now it's come to light that it was all orchestrated by Pakistan, as claimed time and again by the Indian government.
Yes, definitely. As you rightly mentioned, but let me tell you, this is not the first time that Hafiz Saeed's confession has come out publicly. Since the government of Pakistan has announced the 19th of July as a moderate day in solidarity with the Kashmiri people.
All right, Kaswar, we'll come back to you in a bit. We seem to have a bit of an issue with your audio there. But this particular statement from Hafiz Saeed has pretty much exposed Pakistan for its doublespeak and its lies. To take you through really what Mr. Saeed said, he has maintained very clearly that the protests that we witnessed in Kashmir, where thousands had taken to the streets, was actually led by the Lashkar-e-Taiba. Remember, in the past, the Indian government has slammed Pakistan, saying that they've been instigating youth in the valley. And we've seen, of course, Pakistan also meddling in India's internal affairs, calling for a black day to mourn the violence in the valley. The likes of Hafiz Saeed have been very vocal over the violence in Kashmir. And yesterday, while addressing a massive rally, is when he made this particular statement, saying that it was the LAT who was leading the protests in Kashmir. We'll have to wait and watch to see how diplomatically this progresses, considering, of course, we've seen Pakistan going to the UN and crying itself hoarse that there were human rights violations in Kashmir. How will the Indian government now respond is also a key question. Joining us now over the phone lines is our executive editor, Gaurav Sawant. Good morning, Gaurav. This pretty much blows the lid on Pakistan's lies and doublespeak, doesn't it?
Oh, it absolutely does. And this is Pakistan's worst kept secret, that this trouble in Jammu and Kashmir is actually fomented, orchestrated by Pakistan, both its government and terrorists like Hafiz Saeed and Hizbul Mujahideen Sayyid Salahuddin. Recently we spoke to the Army Commander, Northern Command in Dras, Lieutenant General Huda, and he made it very clear that this trouble in Jammu and Kashmir is Pakistan-sponsored. It's part of Pakistan's proxy war. And he said it's not just moral support that Pakistan is giving, but active physical support to stone pelters, to separatists, funds that are coming their way. All of that is extremely clear. And this is a sign, Devina, of increased Pakistani frustration. The Lashkar-e-Taiba is frustrated, the Pakistan government is frustrated, the separatists are frustrated that 3 decades of terrorism has failed in Pakistan's mission Kashmir. They've completely failed, and this is their frustration. Terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir now down to less than 150, and whatever they may do, they are not succeeding. So all these statements are a very desperate attempt to internationalize the issue, Devina.
Right, Gaurav, also what we've witnessed here, considering Mr. Hafiz Saeed's statement, you've seen Pakistan provoke time and again. They've even raised this particular issue with the UN. How will India now respond? How will India give a fitting reply, considering now that the proof is out for all to see?
You know, India's permanent representative at the United Nations, Syed Akbaruddin, made it very clear that Pakistan is a state sponsor of terror and Pakistan should be the last country to talk about human rights violation, because as the Minister for External Affairs, Sushma Swaraj, also said, Pakistan is one country that has used air force and artillery against its own people, and there they are complaining that India is using pellet guns against protesters and stone pelters who've led murderous mobs attacking police stations, CRPF stations, and they've killed policemen and looted weapons. So in such a situation, this is the least, lethal response that India has resorted to. That's point one. Point two, the United Nations has also made it extremely clear that Jammu and Kashmir is a bilateral issue that India and Pakistan need to sort out themselves, and the UN will not intervene. And that is something that is very clear. So all that Pakistan is doing is playing to its domestic gallery, because the world is clearly not listening to people who foment trouble and terror, Devina.
Absolutely. Gaurav, we request you to stay on with us. Let's once again listen in to what Hafiz Saeed said. Can Gaurav?
की शहादत हुई, 3 लाख कश्मीरी उसके जनाजे के लिए निकले, और फैसलाबाद के भाइयों, आपको मालूम है, अगर आप उस जनाजे की तस्वीर देखें तो एक नौजवान है जिसको कश्मीरियों ने अपने कंधों पर उठाया हुआ है, और वो जनाजे के इस जुलूस की क़यादत कर रहा है। कौन है वो? कुछ जानते हैं आप कौन है वो जिसको कश्मीरियों ने अपने कंधों पर उठाया हुआ है और वो क़यादत कर रहा है? वो लश्कर-ए-तैयबा का अमीर है। वो लश्कर-ए-तैयबा का अमीर है।
Let's go back to Gaurav for more details on this. Gaurav, if you listened into that particular address that Hafiz Saeed had made, he proudly goes on to boast about how this protest is being led by a man from the LET. What this also exposes is Hafiz Saeed's links with the LET, something that he and Pakistan have been in denial over.
Spot on there. After Parliament attacks, desperate attempt was made both by the Pakistan government and Lashkar-e-Taiba founder Hafiz Saeed to distance themselves from this terrorist organization. But now, in their frustration, considering the top commanders of Lashkar-e-Taiba, Hizbul Mujahideen and Jaish-e-Mohammed have been neutralized in Jammu and Kashmir, considering that the number of terrorists has gone down, these people are extremely desperate to keep that fire of terror burning in Jammu and Kashmir. So a lot of this is meant to get youngsters in Pakistan to become terrorists and fight in Jammu and Kashmir, and a lot of this is meant for those in Jammu and Kashmir, especially in Kashmir Valley, those who are very frustrated that nothing seems to be working. Stone pelting is not working, terror is not working, and all of this, the world is not listening to those who want to use terror as a means to achieve any aim. So in all of this, a very, very desperate Pakistan and Hafiz Saeed are resorting to these measures to keep their morale up. But that's clearly not happening, because the situation on ground is extremely clear. Less than 100. But one thing, Devina, is very important. There will be more terror, there will be more infiltration, and that is something that both the army and the J&K government are talking about. An increasingly desperate Pakistan and Hafiz Saeed will push in more infiltrators to fuel the Jammu and Kashmir fire, and that is something that the state, that the government needs to be very careful about.
All right, Gaurav, thanks for joining us with those details.